Hi guys, so welcome to the channel. So today we are going to solve the most asked 15 questions about arrays. Okay, so let's take a look at the questions first. So let's see the first question. What is that? Find the frequency of each element in an array. Okay, so to do that, we can do it in two ways. Okay, we can use the old-fashioned way using only arrays, and we can do in 4 to 5 lines using what collections. Okay, so let's try to do this with collections first. Okay, so to do that, what we have to do, we have to store key, we have to store as key and value pairs, right? We have to store the element, and we have to map it with its frequency. So which object I have to use? I have to use a map object. Okay, hash map of what is the data type here? Key as an integer and value is also an integer. Okay, so I will name it as a frequency is equals to new hash map. Okay, so it's not colon here, it's comma. Okay, so let's iterate through that list. Okay, I will use a for each loop here. There is no need of index here. So what I will do is I will put these key and values inside this hash map. Frequency dot put, we have to pass key and value, right? So what is the key here? The element is the key. What is the value? Frequency is the value. So how to do that? How to get this frequency? Okay, so I have to check if the element is already present in that hash map or not. Okay, if the element is not present in this, I have to assign with initial frequency of what? 1, right? So if already present inside this frequency hash map, what do I have to do? I have to get the value and I have to increment it with 1. Okay, so to do that, frequency dot get our default method. Okay, so what I have to get? I have to get the value of I element, and if there is no I element in this hash map, what we have to do? We have to get a result of 0. Okay, and we have to add it with 1, increment with 1. Okay, what I'm saying is let's take 1 here. Okay, so at the first time, for the first time, it's inserting this 1, right? So it will put 1 as a key, and before assigning the value, it will check. Okay, this method will return the value of 1 or 0. Okay, if 1 is already present in this hash map, it will give us the value. Okay, if not present, it will give a 0 as a value. Okay, and we are incrementing with 1. So what will be the initial value? 1 with key and value pair as 1 as an item and 1 as a frequency. Okay, so in the second iteration we are getting this 1 again, right? So it will replace that previous pair, okay, with what? I will be the item, and before getting the value, so it will return the value of that previous frequency. Okay, previous entry. Okay, because I is already present in that hash map, right? So what is the value present in that entry? 1. Frequency is 1, right? Initial frequency. So it will get 1 here, and what we will get total 2. Okay, so that previous entry will be replaced from 1 colon 1 to 1 colon 2. That means what? I is occurred 2 times. Okay, that's how we get this, and let's print this and see we are getting the correct output or not. Okay, frequency, let's run this. Yeah, see, we are getting the correct output, right? 1 as there are 2 frequencies, and 7 occurred 2 times. Getting it right. So let's do this in by using arrays only. Okay, So to store this, I have to store unique elements and its indexes. Okay, so to do that I have to use two arrays here. Int unique elements is equals to new int of, I will take the length as same as the array. Okay, we have to store the frequencies too, right? So I will use another array. In I will pass the same length here. Getting a, so what I have to do, I have to find a unique element first. Okay, if I found the unique element, I have to find the occurrence of the element inside that array. Okay, what I mean is, for the first iteration let's take 1. Okay, I have to check if the 1 is already present on its right side or not. Okay, if 1 is present in on its right side, that means 1 is a duplicate element. Okay, so I will pass on it. On the second iteration we are again getting 1, right? So I will check if this 1 is present on its right side or not. Okay, so it's not present on its right side, right? So I will take this 1 and I will insert it into this unique array. Okay, so we are getting this as an unique item, right? So I will use this 1 and I will uh, iterate through this whole list to get the frequency of 1. Getting what I'm saying? So let's do that. For int I is equals to 0, I is less than arr dot length I plus plus. Okay, so I will take a boolean here. Boolean flag is equals to false. So I have to check if the element is present on its right side or not. Okay, so starting from which index, I plus 1th index, j is less than arr dot length j plus plus. Okay, what I have to do, I have to check the condition if array of I double equals to array of j. If the element is present on its right side, what I have to do, I have to change the value of this flag, right, to true. Okay, so after this we will get the value of flag. So what I have to do, I have to check if the element is unique or a duplicate element. So I don't want a duplicate element, I have to find the unique element. Okay, so if not flag, that means what, the element is not repeated on its right side. Okay, that means what, I have to find the frequency, right? So to store the frequency I will use another variable called, let's take it as frequency equals to 0. Okay, and what I have to do, I have to find the frequency of that element inside the whole array. Okay, so I will use another for loop here. Int j equals to 0, j is less than arr dot length j plus plus, if array of j double equals to array of I. What I have to do, I have to increment this frequency, right? Frequency plus plus. Now we got the frequency and the unique element array of I. Okay, so what I have to do, I have to insert these values into this unique and frequency array. Okay, so how to do that, we need an index here. So int index is equals to 0. Okay, after finding the frequency I will add this element to this unique array. Unique of index plus plus is equals to array of I, and frequency of index wait a minute, so we can do that here. Index is equals to frequency, and later what I have to do, I have to increment this index, right? Getting so let's try to print this both arrays. Okay, arrays dot toString of what, unique. I will print this unique array first and I will print this frequencies too. toString of frequency. So let's run this and check we are getting the correct we are getting the correct output, right? But we are getting this default values here, we don't need that, right? So what we have to do, we have to eliminate these last default values. So how to do that? We have to slice the string array. Okay, so how to do that? We have to call this. Okay, so arrays dot copy of range, in which array? Unique array, starting from which index? 0th index. Okay, till what index? Index. Okay, so same here, arrays dot copy of range, in which array? Frequency array, starting from which index? 0th index till that index. Well, let's run this. Getting a, so that's how to do by using only arrays. Okay, so let's look at the next question here. So remove duplicates from a sorted array. Okay, remove duplicates from a sorted array. I will create another method here, and what I will do here, 1 comma 2 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4 comma 4 comma 5 comma 6 comma 6 comma 7. So this is a sorted array, right? But it has duplicates. So what I have to do, I have to eliminate these duplicates. So how to do that? So let me create a function first. Public static void remove duplicates. Okay, so what I have to do is, while iterating, I have to check if the current element is equal to the next element or not. Okay, so if the current element is not equal to next element, I will append this current element to this result array. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is, for the first iteration, so 1 is not equals to 2, right? So I will add this 1 to the result array. Okay, for the second iteration, we will be at this first index, right? I will check this first index element is equals to this second index element or not. Okay, these are equal, right? That means we should pass on this. Okay, let's go to this third iteration. Okay, we will check if this 2 is equals to 3 or not. Okay, if it not equal, what we have to do, we have to add this 2 to this result array. Getting what I'm saying? So let's try to do that. So I will declare the result array here. So int result is equals to new int of, what is the length here? Array dot length. Huh? account lo kada. Okay, so let's try to implement that. So for int I is equals to 0, I is less than arr dot length I plus plus. So why I'm not using for each loop here? Because I need an index here. Getting what I'm saying? So let's check if array of I equals to array of I plus 1. Okay, what we have to do, what the condition we need is, current element should not be equal to the next element. Only then we have to add that element to this result array. Okay, the condition will be array of I not equals to array of I plus 1. Okay, what I have to do, I have to insert that value to that result array. So to insert that, I need an index, right? So index I equals to 0, and we have to add it, result of index plus plus is equals to what? Array of I. Okay, so here we will get an array index out of bounds error, because what we know, in the last iteration array of I is 7, right? So if it tries to access array of I plus 1, so there is no next element, right? So we will definitely get an error. So where we have to stop the execution, when the iteration will be at this uh, this last, that means second from the last index. Okay, so how to do that? We have to decrement with 1. Okay, so till what index it will work? So till first index to this this at this last index. Okay, it will ignore this last one. Okay, and what we have to do, we have to check if the last number is equal to its previous element or not. Getting what I'm saying? Let's try to run this. We will you will get a clarity on that. So I will just print it. Okay, so arrays dot copy of range from which array, result array. So okay, so run this. um, I think we are not calling that, so remove duplicates. Something we are not printing it, right? So to print that, I have to call this toString method from arrays class. So toString and pass this sliced array here. Getting so we are not getting this 7 is an unique element, right? But we are not getting it. Why? Because we are stopping the iteration at this level. Okay, we are ignoring the last element. So after this loop, what we have to check, we have to check whether the last element is equals to its before element or not. Okay, so let's write a condition here. If array of array dot length minus 1 not equals to array of array dot length minus 2. Okay, what you have to do, result of index plus plus is equals to array of, we have to add the last element, right? So if it's not equals to its previous element, so how to get it, array dot length minus 1. Getting so let's run this and see we are getting the correct output. Yeah, getting it right. So we eliminated all the duplicate elements in this sorted array, right? Getting so let's look at the next question. So we can do this in a simple way too. How, by using these collections. So we can use this set collection. Okay, I will use a hash set. Okay, hash set of integer and result is equals to new hash set. Okay, why I am using this? Because a set allows only unique elements. If we try to add a duplicate element, it will just replace the existing element with its new element. Okay, so what I will just use a for each loop here. For I in arr, what I have to do, result dot add of I. Okay, just print this result set. We're getting the same output. So we can do this. This will take like 3 to 4 lines of code. That's all. Okay, we can use this in interviews too. They won't do anything. Okay, so let's look at this third one here. So what is that? Find the second largest element in an array. Okay, but we know how to get the largest element in an array. So how to get the second largest element? Okay, let's see. Let me create another method here. Public static void get second largest. I'll pass an integer array. Okay, let me get the largest element inside this array. I will create a variable int largest is equals to 0. I will initialize with 0, and I will iterate through that list using for each loop. For int in I, what I have to check, if I is greater than largest, what I have to do, I have to assign it to largest. Okay, let's print that and check we are getting the largest element or not. Let me call this get second largest element. So what we are getting the largest element inside that array, right? So but what we wanted, we want the second largest element, right? I want the second largest element. Okay, what we have to do, we have to iterate through the list again, but with some condition. What is that? So to store the second largest element, I'll create another variable second largest is equals to 0. So what I have to do here, I will iterate through that list and I have to check the condition. If I greater than second largest, okay, and yeah, and I less than largest, getting a, so that's how we get the second largest element. Okay, so what we have to do, we have to assign it to second largest. So let's print that second largest. Okay, so let's run this and see we are getting the correct output or not. Getting a 6, which is nothing but what, second largest element. Getting a, okay, so the next one is second smallest element. Okay, these, or you can do the same operations here. So I will just copy paste this method, second smallest, right, second smallest. So I will rename it to smallest, to smallest, smallest. What will be the condition here? If I is less than smallest, and here smallest, okay, what will be the second smallest is equals to 0, second smallest, okay, give me a minute. Okay, so there is one drawback here. We are initializing with 0, right? So that means what, I will never be less than 0, because we are all having the positive values here, right? So what we have to initialize it with, we can initialize with integer dot max value. Getting a, we are assigning with the largest possible integer value. Getting a, so it will work here. So let's call this second smallest. Yeah, we are, there is a change in this condition. Okay, we have to use a smaller than and greater than here. Two, yeah, which is nothing but our second smallest element, right? So we are getting the correct output. So we got it, and let's take a look at this next question. Nth largest element in an array. Okay, so how to do that? We will do the same operation. So public static void nth largest. Okay, I have to pass an array. So how to do that? First let me get the largest element first. Okay, so int largest is equals to 0, and let me get the largest one, arr. If I is greater than largest, I have to initialize with I. So now we get the largest element, right? So what I have to do, I have to find the nth largest element. I will use a counter here. So count is equals to 1. Okay, so while count is less than n, I have to pass the n value, right? So int n. Okay, what we have to do, we have to find the nth largest. Okay, so nth largest is equals to 0. Let's take it like that, and find the next largest element. If I is less than nth largest and I smaller than what, largest, what we have to do, we have to initialize with nth largest is equals to 1. So now what we get, we will get the second largest value, right? Okay, because why we are what we are using, we are using this first largest element inside this condition. Okay, so to get the third maximum, what we have to do, we have to use the second largest value inside this condition. Getting what I'm saying? That means what, we have to update this largest value. Okay, so I have to update this largest value with what, and the largest value. Getting so after that, what I have to do, I'll just print this largest. Okay, so let me call that, so nth largest. I have to find third largest value. Let me check if we are getting the correct output or not. We are not incrementing the count, right? So we have to increment the count. Yeah, okay, let's run this. Yeah, we are getting the 5, which is nothing but what, third maximum value, right? So how we get that? So for example, what we are doing first, what we are doing here, so first we are calculating the largest element, okay, which is nothing but what, 7. Okay, so in this while loop, what we are getting, second largest element. Why we are getting? Because we are comparing it with the first largest element. Okay, so what we will get here, 6. And after that, what we are doing, we are assigning this 6 to this largest number, largest variable. Okay, that means in the second iteration, what we are doing, we are getting the maximum value, but that value should be less than 6. Getting in the first iteration, what we are doing, we are getting the largest element, but that element should be less than 7. That means what, second largest element. And the second iteration, what we are doing, we are getting the maximum element, but that element should be less than 6, nothing but what, 5, which is nothing but what, third largest element. Getting so this is the logic to get the nth largest element, right? So how to find this nth smallest one, using the same logic. Okay, so I will just create it instead of copy paste it. Void nth smallest, and we have to pass the array, and I have to pass the n value. Okay, yeah, so first what we have to do, we have to find the smallest element inside this array. So int smallest is equals to, I will pass this maximum value, assign this maximum value. So I will iterate through the list int I in array. So if I is less than smallest, what we have to do, we have to reinitialize with I. So we get the first smallest element, right? So we will create a counter here. So count is equals to 1. So while count less than what, n. Okay, what we have to do, we have to find the next smallest element. Okay, so let me create this nth smallest element. Nth smallest is equals to integer dot max value. Okay, while iterating this, we have to check the condition, right? So what is the condition? If I is less than nth smallest and I is greater than what, smallest element. Getting so let me initialize with I, and after getting the next smallest element, what we have to do, we have to assign that next smallest element to what, the smallest variable. Okay, so smallest is equals to nth smallest. Getting we have to update the count, right? So let me print that smallest. Okay, so let me call this nth smallest. What we are doing, we are printing the third smallest value. So let's run that. Yeah, we are getting the correct output, right? So this is the logic for that. So let's take a look at the another one. we have done this, and we have done this. What we have to do, we have to find the largest even element in an array. Okay, this is a simple logic for this. So public static void largest even. What I have to do, I have to pass the array first. Okay, so to store the largest element, I will create a variable largest even is equals to 0. I will treat as an initial value as a 0. Okay, so I have to iterate through that list. I have to check the condition if I is greater than largest even, and what I have to check, I is even or odd. Okay, so I should be even, right? So that means I percentage 2 double equals to 0. That means what, I should be an even number and it should be greater than the largest even. Okay, so only then we have to initialize with I. Got it? So let's print that largest even, and let me call that largest even. Okay, so run this. See, getting a 6 is the largest even number in this array. Okay, so next one is what, find the smallest odd element in an array. Okay, smallest odd element. So how to do that? Public static void smallest odd. So same logic here, we just have to change the conditions. So int smallest odd is equals to 0. I will treat it as the initial value. So for int I in array, what I have to do, I have to check the condition if I is less than smallest odd, and I should be what, I should be an odd number, right? So I percentage 2 not equals to 0. Only then we have to initialize it to smallest odd. Okay, so there is a problem here, we are initializing with 0, right? So that means what, this we will never get the smallest odd. Okay, so we have to initialize with the maximum number. So I am using this integer dot max value. Okay, so just print it smallest odd. Let's run that. Oh, we are not calling it, right? So smallest odd, yeah, 1 getting correct output. So let's look at the next one, largest prime number in an array. Okay, so these are just the same logic, but we have to use another function here. So let me create a function to find the prime number. Okay, so public static boolean is prime of int n. I will take a number as an input and I will return true if the number is prime, and I will return false if the number is not prime. Okay, so if number is less than 2, okay, I will return false. That means if the input is a 0 or 1, which is not a prime number, right? So I will return false here. And if n double equals to 2, return true. If the input is 2, I will return 2 because 2 is a prime number, right? So and then what I have to do, I will just start this iteration from 2, I equals to 2, I is less than n, I plus plus, and if any number divides n, that means what, that is not a prime number, and I will return false. Okay, if that number passes all these 3 conditions, that means that number is a prime, right? So I will return true here. Okay, this is the condition to check the prime number. So and what we are doing, we are calculating the largest prime, right? So this is the same logic to get the largest number, but we have to just check another condition that the element is prime or not. Okay, so public static void get largest prime. and I will pass the integer array. So to store that, I will create a variable largest prime is equals to 0. We have to initialize with the smallest value possible. Okay, so iterate through that list, and what we have to check the condition here, if I is greater than largest prime and is prime of I. What this means, I should be the prime number and it should be greater than this largest prime value. So only then we will update the value. Okay, largest prime is equals to I, and just print that. Okay, so let's run this. So what we are getting here, 1. 1 is 1 the largest prime? No, we have this 7 also, right? That means something, there's a bug in here. What is that? This logic is correct only. There is a problem in this one. What is that? Okay, I will okay, something is wrong. I will just print is prime of 7. We are not getting that right. Why we are not getting, so sorry, so sorry. Logic is correct, but what we are doing, we are not calling this method. Okay, so sorry. Yeah, so let's run this. Yeah, we are getting a right largest prime number. Getting so let's look at the another one. Rotate an array to the left. Okay, so I will just create a method to rotate an array by one step. Okay, so public static void rotate left, and I will have to pass this an array. So what I will do here, I will just rotate an array on left side. That means what, all the elements will be shifted to its previous index. Okay, I mean, let's take this array 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4. So after one shift, what will be the array 2 comma 3 comma 4 comma 1. Okay, getting what I'm saying? So to do that, what we have to do, first we will store this 0th index. Okay, because we will lost it once we are reinitializing these values. Okay, so after doing after initializing all these, we have to assign this first index value to the last index. That's it. Getting so what I have to do, I have to print this first. I will just make it as first is equals to array of 0. I am storing this first index element. Okay, now what I have to do, I have to iterate through the list. Okay, int I is equals to 0, I is less than arrow dot length I plus plus. Okay, till what, till array of length minus 1. Okay, because what I am doing, I will access the next element too. Okay, you will get it. What I have to do, I have to initialize it, right? Array of I is equals to array of I plus 1. Getting so let's try to print the array and see how we are getting the output. It's not done yet. Okay, so arrays dot to string of array. We have to call this method. So rotate left. So I will pass a little array here. This two looking like so much complex. Yeah, yeah, we are getting it right. So all these three are shifted to left, but we are not changing this last one. Okay, what you have to initialize it with the first value what we have stored. Okay, so after this loop, what you have to do, we have to assign this last index value to the first value. Getting so let's run this and see. Yeah, getting right. So we are rotating the array on left on one turn. Okay, so what is the condition here? What is the question here? They will give n number of steps. What we have to do, we have to rotate it n number of times. Okay, so what we will do here, we will just cut this. Okay, we will take the number of steps here as n, int n, and we will create a count is equals to 0. Okay, so we will pass this while count plus is less than n. We will do this. Getting so let's call this, we will take one step. Yeah, getting let's make it two steps. Yeah, getting the correct output. So that's it, guys. So the next one is to shift to its right. Okay, so let me create another method here. Public static void rotate right. What I have to pass, I have to pass the array first. Okay, we will just do one step. Okay, after that we will do for the n steps. Okay, so for right shifting, so let's take this array. So what will be the array after we shift it to right? We'll get a 4 first, 1 comma 2 comma 3. Getting so what we have to do here, we will start from reverse order. Okay, we will start from the ending index. Okay, so we will initialize this last index with its previous value. Getting so what it will do, it will assign 3 here. Okay, here. Okay, for the next iteration this value will be replaced with 2, right? So next this value first index will be replaced by 0th index element, and what will be the 0th index element? The last index which we will store at the beginning of the program. Okay, so what we have to store here, we have to store the ending index. Okay, int end is equals to array of array dot length minus 1. So we are storing the last index value, right? So what we have to do, we have to start the iteration from a reverse order. Okay, so I is equals to array dot length minus 1. I is greater than or equals to 0, right? Or greater than or equals to greater than 0. Okay, we have to leave this first index, right? So what is the incrementation here? I minus minus. What we have to do, array of I is equals to array of I minus 1. Getting and we have to initialize this first index value to its stored ending value, right? So array of 0 is equals to what? End. So let's print this arrays dot toString of r. Let me call this rotate right. There is an problem here. Oh, what is that? Okay, oh, it's not accepting two arguments. Okay, we have to pass only the array. Yeah, getting the array got shifted to its right for one step. So we have to do it for n number of steps. Okay, we will do the same logic here, and we will cut this. We will use a count variable, and we will use a while loop here. So while count plus plus less than n, we have to do this shifting. Okay, so let's run this. Oh, we have to pass the number. I'll just take 2 steps. Getting so that's how to do that, guys. So let's take a look at the next question. Find the first non-repeating element in an array. Okay, so first non-repeating element. So let me take this variable as 3 1 2. Okay, so what we have to do here is for each iteration we have to check if that variable is already present in that array or not. So how to do that? So let's take it, we are at the first iteration. Okay, here. Okay, we have to check if the 1 is already present on its right indices or not. Okay, that means what? I is a duplicate element, I is repeating. Okay, we can skip that. Okay, so let's take a look at that. 2. Okay, so we have to check if a 2 is already present on its right index or not. Okay, so if it's present, that means I is repeating. Okay, we will skip that. Getting so we have to at the third iteration we will check again. We will see if this 3 is okay. Let me redefine that. So before while doing the iteration, we have to find the frequency of the element. Okay, what we have to do, we have to find the first non-repeating element, right? So uh, that means if we are at this index 1, we have to get the frequency inside this whole array. So what will be the frequency for 1? 2, right? So 2 will be the frequency for 1, so that means we can skip this. And for 2 we'll also get the same frequency, so we will skip it. So until what? We will find the frequency of 1. Okay, so 3 will also get 2 frequency, and with 4 we will get what? 1 frequency. 4 is only occurred once, right? So if we get the frequency of 1, that means 4 is the first non-repeating element, right? So we will break this loop here. Getting what I'm saying? So let's do that. Public static void first non-repeating. Okay, I will pass the array. So what I have to do, I will use a loop here. Okay, so for int I is equals to 0, I is less than arrow dot length I plus plus. Okay, so for each iteration we are counting the frequency, right? So I will use the count variable here, and I will check how many times this element is present in that list. So I int j equals to 0, j is less than arrow dot length j plus plus if array of I double equals to array of j. What you have to do, we have to increment the count here. So if count double equals to 1, that means if the first non-repeating character found, what we have to do, we will just print that character array of I, and we will break the loop here. Getting so let's run that and see what we are getting. First non-repeating. So let's run this and see if we are getting the 4. Getting so let's try to make it 4 as a duplicate element, and I'll make 3 as a non-repeating element. So let's see we are getting 3 or not. See, getting So that's how to do that, guys. So what is the next one is to check an array is palindrome or not. So this is so easy, guys, so easy. It will just take 2 or 3 lines of code. Okay, so what we have to do here, static I will use a boolean. I will return a boolean here. So is palindrome. I have to pass an array first. So what I will do here is C. So for int I is equals to 0 comma j is equals to array dot length minus 1. Okay, what I'm doing is I am creating two variables. Okay, one is at what, one will be at the first index and j will be at the last index. Okay, so what will be the condition? I less than j. Okay, that means what, okay, let me increment that. So I plus plus comma what j it will do, j will be decremented. That means what, for the first iteration I will be 0, j will be at the last index. Okay, for the next iteration I will be at this first index and j will be at this index. Okay, so till what, till I and j reaches center. Okay, so we can use this multiple variables inside a for loop, right? So we have to check the condition. If array of I not equals to array of j, what I have to do, I have to print false, I have to return false. That means what, this is not a palindrome. Okay, so if this passes this loop, that means what, that array is a palindrome. Okay, getting so what I have to do, I will print it. Okay, because it's a return type, right? So is palindrome of array. So let's print that true or false. False, because this is not a palindrome, right? So I'll make it as a palindrome. So now it is a palindrome array, right? So let's see, getting that's how we do it, guys. Done now. So let's look at the another one. Find the maximum product of two integers in an array. So it's more like what, you know, finding the largest element inside an array. So but here what we have to do, we have to get the product of each possible combination. Okay, so let me create a method function here, public static void get max product of int array. So to store that I will use max is equals to 1. Okay, so what I have to do, I have to calculate the product, right? So for int I is equals to 0, I is less than arrow dot length I plus plus. Okay, so let's take this for the first iteration 1. Okay, so I have to multiply this with every possible element. Okay, so I will multiply with 2. Okay, and I will multiply with 3, I will multiply with 2 again, I will multiply with 1. Okay, so after multiplying with each element I have to check the condition if that product is greater than max or not. Okay, if the product is greater than max, we have to reinitialize the max with that product. Getting what I'm saying? So I have to use another loop here. Int j equals to what, from starting from which index, I plus 1 index, j is less than array dot length j plus plus. Okay, so what I have to do, I have to calculate the product, right? So int product is equals to what, array of I into array of j. This is the product, right? So I have to check the condition. If product is greater than max, what I have to do, we have to initialize the max with this product. Getting so after completing this outer loop, what we will get the maximum product, right? So let me print it max, right? Max. Okay, let me call that get max product of array. So what is the maximum product here? 3 into 2 is the maximum product, 6, right? So let's see that we are getting the correct output. Yeah, getting a, but I will use something as 70. Okay, so what will be the maximum product? 210 will be the maximum product, right? Yeah, getting a, so that's how to do that, guys. So let's look at the last program here. What is that? Find pairs in an array with a given sum. Okay, what we have to do, we'll provide a sum to a function, to a method. Okay, what we have to check, we have to check the pair which will result in the summation, which is equals to what which is given to that function. Okay, we will do the same operation. Okay, like we can calculate the sum like how we are calculating the product here. Okay, what will be the condition? If sum is equals to given sum, we have to print the pair. That's all. Okay, so let's do that. Public static void get pair sum. Okay, so int array comma int sum. Okay, we have to provide the sum here and we have to find the pairs. Okay, so what we have to do, I will iterate through the array first. I is less than arr dot length I plus plus, and what I have to do, I have to sum with every possible element. Okay, so starting from what index, I plus 1 index, till what array dot length j plus plus. Okay, what we have to do here, we have to find the sum. Okay, so int paired sum is equals to what, array of I plus array of j. Okay, so we have to check the condition here. So if paired sum is equals to given sum, okay, that means what, this array of array of I and array of j are the pair which will result in the given sum. Okay, what we have to do, we will just print it. Okay, so array of I, okay, so plus array of j. I'm just using this string to make it more readable. Okay, so getting a, so let's run this and see what we will get. So what we will provide, what here, we have to provide some sum here, right? So get paired sum, we have to provide the sum, we will give 3. Okay, I will pass the 0 as well. Okay, let's see we are getting the correct output or not. Yeah, we are getting it, right? So we are getting every possible pair here, getting a, so that's how we do it, guys. So that's it for today's video. So we will in the next video I will do about this level 2 string programs. Okay, so if you find this helpful, please like and subscribe. Okay, thank you guys, have a good day.